to that. But thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you giving me your attention and focus for this conversation. Before I start, does anybody have any questions about health or fitness? Anything they'd like to throw at me? I can just get it out of the way right now.
How often do you work out?
I haven't worked out since Friday. I work out like 2 or 3 days a week. I'm really busy, and I wish I worked out more. But I worked out a lot in my youth, so I don't have to work out as much now. So that's good. Any other questions on that? Okay, so I moved to Lebanon in June when I opened Rise Strength and Performance. We're at 108 South Maple, so where Cedar City used to be, and the tire shop, kind of like right in front of the Capitol Theater parking lot. If you guys are familiar with that, I'm just gonna check the time, make sure I don't run over. Yep. So I found out about Lebanon. I moved to Nashville in December of 2020 from Washington, D.C. I worked in Washington, D.C. in politics for about 10 years and decided to actually make a change in the world and help people, and got out of politics and got into coaching, fitness. So moved to Nashville with the idea of being a homeschool PE teacher. I was like, what do homeschool kids do for physical education? Thought that'd be a cool idea. And got to Nashville, started Googling around, was coaching people out of a garage and out of a gym, all sorts of places, just making ends meet, and found out about a group in town called the Tennessee Heat. They're an athletic association just for homeschool kids. So I emailed all the coaches and like 13 different teams. The basketball team got back to me. We'd love to have you. We train out of a church in Lebanon. I was like, where's Lebanon? Googled it, 40-minute drive. I was doing that 3 days a week to come out to coach these kids. It was a great time. And I still coach them out of my facility. So that's how I ended up in Lebanon. I'm from Central Illinois, so like smaller town, very used to the small town vibe. I like it a lot better than big city where I was living in DC. So I'm very appreciative to be here to speak with you all. So I want to talk today about women's health, and I want to start with, oh, what? How do we get rid of that? Don't read it. Don't read it. Look away. Look away. Look away. How did that happen? Did I click the wrong button? Okay.
Technology, it's man-made.
I know, it's my fault. Okay, so I want to start with a couple stories. So on your left, that is my grandmother. That's my dad's mom. She passed away back in 2014, 87 years old, about a year and a half after breaking her hip. And great lady, very loving, caring, and is typical prototype for that age of what a mom is. And 4 kids. Focused on that. The dad worked. She maintained the house. You all are kind of familiar with that story. Then on your right is my mom at my grand opening for the gym. Maybe more typical story, unfortunately. My parents divorced when I was about 10 years old. She was working 2-3 jobs to help raise my brother and I. One of the more embarrassing jobs was a school lunch lady. So I got to see her during school lunch. I was like, oh, Mom. And then she would bring home leftovers of the school lunch, and I would have to eat it again. But I didn't like it the first time, and then re-ate it the second time. Didn't love it, but I appreciate what she was doing for me. So that was nice. But these are stories, and my grandma and my mom are like a product of kind of what society tells what a lady should do and should be, and how to act and how to look and how to eat and how to behave, all these different types of things. And we're kind of fed these things, and I want you guys to think throughout this time of your story and the things that have impacted you along the way, because I want to hopefully I want you guys to rethink your story and how making some changes you're empowered at the end of my conversation to make some changes in your life. All right, so diet ads since 1960. Since we're running tight on time, I'm not going to show these. What? Look away! Look away! Look away! What happened? I don't know.
Use the square.
Was I looking at the?
Use the square and just hit the arrow to your right on the screen.
I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to reach out and touch each time. You guys should tell me when that stuff is wrong. So here, this is my grandma. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's my grandma. My mom. All right. Good. Okay. All right. So the diet ads since 1960. This is something I looked up on YouTube. You guys can look it up on YouTube. And it's basically 4 minutes of targeted ads towards women, but it's diet ads for everybody. There are 2 guys in the diet ads the entire time. Dan Marino and then George Costanza. But other than that, it's just all targeting towards women. I can send you these links, and it's all about like, it's all these beautiful women up there that are like, oh, I used to be this, and then I ate this, and then I was better. So that tells a story of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not empowered to make my own decision. I need to like work on these, like, work with these groups or take this shake or whatever. And that I think has a negative impact. Because every time, if I played this, you'd probably have flashbacks of all the times you tried these diets and failed. So whenever you fail, that builds the story in your mind of not being able to succeed in diets. And that's just not true, and I want you to kind of like eliminate that out of your mind right now, because you can, and I'm gonna hopefully get you pointed in the right direction. Then women's fitness instruction, it's a funny video with Jane Fonda doing the step stuff, so I'm sure you remember that from like the 80s and 90s. Great exercise, not knocking it, like getting moving, anybody moving is great. And then the second video is Suzanne Summers with her thigh master. Okay, so that's basically like the prototypical, like, here's how women should work out, right? Like, let me play this video real quick. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know. All right, well, of course, the technology's not gonna work for me. All right, I'm gonna go full screen here. Full screen here. All right. Okay, so there are long-term consequences of these behaviors and of the things that you are kind of fed throughout your life. So let's talk women diet history. I'm gonna go over like what kind of diet women have had since. I'm gonna move this over just a little bit so you guys can hear me. The type of diet women have had since the 1970s. Here's our carbohydrates. They've gone up. Our fats have kind of gone down a little bit, and our proteins have gone down. So it was around probably 18%, and now it's around 15% of total caloric intake as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Not much different from men, to be honest. This is a study from 99 to 2008. Again, women are a little higher in proteins, a little higher in carbohydrates, a little less in fats, or proteins. And that has some negative consequences I'll talk about here in a second. Here's obesity rates for men and women since the 1960s. I'm not casting aspersions, these are just data. So women are the darker line, and men are the lighter line. So men are tracking below women. Women have higher rates of obesity, unfortunately. So let me give you a no BS talk about diet and nutrition. So what we should eat. Let me get caught up to my notes here, make sure I'm going to give you the right information. Okay, so how to have a good diet that's sustainable and long-lasting. As I pointed out, protein is about 15% of total calories. That needs about double. Okay? Whenever you look at your plate, you want half protein. So if your plate is a circle, like a hand of protein, fist of vegetables, and then a smaller portion of like a condensed, like a starchy carb of some kind. Protein, but main thing is protein. And then eat your protein first off on that plate. Protein helps release hormones in your body that will help regulate your hunger throughout the day. The more, like, I advise a lot of my clients to jam pack their breakfast with protein. That way they don't have hunger cravings later in the day. It's like you wake up and you just have some toast with jelly on it. That's a lot of carbs, and your body's not getting the things it needs, so it keeps secreting the hunger hormone so that you keep eating, and you're not sure why you can never get full. Because you're literally not, your body isn't secreting the right thing in order to cut off that. How much protein should you get per day? Anybody know? Like, if you want to maintain your level of muscle mass you have right now, how much should you get per day? 90 grams, okay. 90 grams, okay, that's higher than what I usually hear.
Isn't it according to your age? And
No,
your weight?
it's according to your weight. So 1 gram per pound of body weight. 1 gram per pound of body weight is like really, like that's the gold standard. That's what you should shoot for, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Because at about 50%, like let's say 0.5 grams per pound of body weight, you turn into a zombie and you eat yourself. Okay, you eat your muscles, you eat your tissues, because your body wants to like survive. So it feeds all that protein to your brain and to your organs to maintain function. So get that one gram of protein a day. Does anybody have an idea of how much like protein is in a chicken breast? Diana knows because I tell her this. I trained Diana, by the way. 25 grams? About 40 grams of protein. So say I'm a lady. And I weigh 160 pounds, I need to get 160 grams of protein, that's 4 chicken breasts a day.
Does it have to be chicken?
No, doesn't have to be chicken. That's a great question. Does not have to be chicken. So like cottage cheese, like my typical breakfast is like a huge scooping of Greek yogurt, which is about 30 grams of protein, then a couple scoops of protein powder in it with a little milk to thin it out. And that's about 70 grams of protein to like start my day. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it can be done. So whatever.
When I say your protein, that's what I think.
It doesn't have to be meat. It doesn't have to be, yeah.
That's what I think.
Doesn't have to be meat, but like I prefer whole meats if you're doing meats. So like you can actually tell it's a chicken breast, not like some processed like turkey breast stuff that's like slices. And so if that's what you have to do, that's fine. But I would whole meats or protein powders, veggie like either vegan protein powders or plant-based protein powders. Peanut butter is more of a fat source and a carb source than it is a protein source. So don't like just rely on that.
What about eggs?
Eggs, okay, so how many grams of protein are in a large egg? 8? Yep, about 7.5, 8. So if you weigh 150 pounds and you need to get your body weight in grams of protein, that would be 150 grams, and you want to get a third of your protein at breakfast, that's 45 grams of protein. You'd have to eat like 7 to 8 eggs at breakfast to get your protein. Has anybody eaten 7 to 8 eggs in here for breakfast? Yeah, all right, we got one. All right, good job, good work back there. Vanderbilt Health coming through, that's what I'm talking about. All right, but that'll help. So having better energy levels throughout the day, having like better eating throughout the day is gonna help your sleep. Helping your sleep is important. There's been studies that show if you have less than 7 hours of sleep a day, you're gonna eat 20% more calories the next day. So that's like 7 hours of quality sleep. Like if you're in bed for 7 hours, but half of that's laying and looking at your phone, that's not good. Your brain is going to be spinning all that. Okay? So, hand of protein, fist of vegetables, fist of starchy carbs at every meal. Okay? Clear? You got a question? Yeah. What's up?
So let's say you're not at the weight that you'd like to be at.
Sure.
Should you still eat that gram of protein? Because that sounds.
Go 3/4. Go 3/4 of that. So let's just say you're at 200 pounds and you go 150 grams. Then 3/4 is that. But I mean, aiming for the 200 would really like make some changes in your body, like force you. You would be less hungry throughout the day. You would have some like a whole lot of better things going on.
And you'll get so full from eating
Yeah.
that protein.
Oh, I know.
You won't want that roll with the dinner though.
Exactly. Protein
If you
satiates.
eat that fish and chicken and
So-
yeah.
Let's look. Any other questions? I love it. I love the questions, by the way. Thank you. All right. So this is where we're at right now. These are the current trends: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. This is where it should be. So protein at the top, 40%, carbs in the middle, and then fat. All right. So lean muscle growth through rise, through weight training. So we all want to put on lean muscle. We want to look better, look fit. We verify our information at Rise using an in-body scanner. So it sends just like an electric pulse through your body. It measures your body fat, your muscle mass, your water, all sorts of things. I've gotten really, really good results with clients, and we're going to go over some of that. Increased confidence, decreased dress sizes, long-term empowerment for my clients. And I think and women make more gains quicker. I think for 2 reasons. One, women want to get strong and they haven't really lifted weights before. So there's a whole bunch of gains to be made immediately. And then also the way that I coach, not to brag on myself, but like we have a way of coaching at Rise that's very individualized to help the individual out. So it's not like you're coming into a big group class and you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. Like when Diana comes to work out, it's different than what Bill is doing, it's different than what Jill is doing. And those individualized things allow me to direct and make sure the program continues to get harder and work for them, but not totally crush them and make it impossible for them to actually work out. And so when I say that there are gains to be made, you're probably saying, yeah, but that's them and I'm me, and I don't have a good track record of that. That's the story that you're telling in your mind again and again of that you aren't good at working out or being successful there. You're too old, you're too slow, you've never done it before. That's all wrong, okay? So let's look here, some examples. Here's a 34-year-old female, 5'6", with 3 kids. She started working out with me. She was 163 pounds, had a skeletal muscle mass of 57.5 pounds, and a body fat percentage of 36.5. Then after 3 months of training, she was up 2 pounds in muscle and down 2 points, or a point in body fat percentage. Then after 6 months of training, she's gained 8 pounds overall in body weight, has gained 3 pounds in muscle, and her body fat is about the same. But she complained to me the other day, and I don't know if you guys want to have this problem, but I'm happy to give you this problem. She said her pants were too tight on her butt and too loose on her waist. So I'm like, I'm sorry, like if you want, I can change that. We can reverse that and give you all your, we can make your waist bigger if you want. And this is honestly, like she's, like her putting on body fat percentage is an anomaly, and we're starting to like bring down her calories, because I also advise on nutrition. Okay, so next example. So this is a 34-year-old. Now here's a 41-year-old female, 5'5", 3 kids. She came in at 153 pounds, 60 pounds in muscle, 28% body fat. Within the first 3 months, she gained, or 2.5 months, she gained 2 pounds of muscle, dropped a percentage in body fat. Then after 6 months of training, she about the same in muscle mass, but her weight is below her initial point. So she's lost a lot of body fat and has gained muscle mass, and her body fat percentage is 26.5. So these are numbers, but these numbers are visualizations of a story. So the story for this lady is she's a chiropractor in town, has 3 kids, has like doing all sorts of projects, and she's able to keep up and do those things and do them well because of the work that she's put in at the gym. And I think a lot of you all can like value from that as well. So don't look at these numbers and just think of them as more muscle mass. Think of it how it helps and improves your life. All right, next one. Any questions so far? No? Yeah.
So you don't have like classes, people work out at their own pace.
So I have personal training, that's one-on-one personal training, and then I have small group personal training. Small group personal trainings are 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., Monday through Friday. And the small group personal training, 5 people at a time, each of them with their own individualized workout. And we come in, we do a group warm-up, and then everybody does their own workout, and I coach everybody at the exact same time. That makes it more cost effective. My personal training rates are $115 an hour. That's almost $2 a minute. And the person, with the small group personal training, that brings it down drastically, because for 3 workouts a week for 4 weeks, that's 12 workouts, it's about $360. That's only $30 a workout, as opposed to $115 a workout. So it makes it more effective and cost effective for you guys, but also like if I have 5 people in there, everybody's paying $30 per workout, that's $150 for me, and as opposed to $115. So it's a good give and take, and helps more people, which I want to do. Good question. Any other questions? Okay, great. Okay, next one, 48. We're getting older, but we're still getting gains. So this lady gained 16 pounds since working out with me, and this was only over a 5-month period. Her muscle mass went from 56 pounds, so she's 5'5", weighs 198 pounds. Her muscle mass was 56. That is extremely low for somebody who is at that weight. And now she's at 65 pounds, and her body fat percentage dropped almost 3 points. And this was back in November. She's made a lot of progress since then. I'm sure it's even better. But this has allowed her to be a mega mom, a mega grandma, a mega business lady, and like just empowered her to do all sorts of great things, go through the holidays unscathed, get out of back pain. It's not just these numbers, it's more than that. Okay, so you're probably thinking, well, I'm older than 48. There's no way you can help me out. So
Do not put mine up there.
No, it's not yours, Diana. Yeah. We don't go that old. We don't go that old in here. Okay. Just kidding. We have good time. Okay, so then the final ones. 67-year-old lady, 5'2", 2 kids, 2 grandkids. She started training with me in Nashville, and then followed me out. She drives from West Nashville 35 minutes, 3 times a week to come train with me. She started at 142 pounds. We're still on the right side, right? She started at 142 pounds. She now is at 154.6, has 5 pounds more muscle, and is at about the same percent body fat. But she also has eliminated her neck pain and doesn't have tremors anymore. So a lot of like really cool, able to play with the grandkids, has a lot more energy, all those types of things. But there's more to the story, okay? So the bare bones workout truth bombs. Any other questions before I go on? Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just looking at that, I would be like, I know that muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at that going, I don't know that I want to go in there and gain even more weight.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why we do the scan. First of all, that's why we do the scan. It's a great question. We do the scan because if we were just looking at the scale, you're like, hey, I've gained 16 pounds since working here. It's like, okay, well, before you had X amount of muscle mass, now you have Y amount of muscle mass. All that muscle mass is why you've like gained weight. And the other thing I'm going to talk about is bone density. So lifting weights helps with bone density, and I think that's where some of those gains are coming from. Bones don't weigh that much. How much do you guys think my bones weigh? I've weighed them before. It hurt. Yeah. 8.7 pounds. So the bones don't weigh that much, but they get really brittle. They get really brittle, especially if they're not stressed over time. So I think, to answer your question, the scale is a liar, and it sucks, and it's not a good representation of your overall physical condition, and I don't think you should pay attention to it. I really tell my clients to not weigh themselves and not get obsessed with it, because it's not necessarily a good indicator of your health. Yep. Good question though. And it is something I have to talk to my clients on the edge about. Yep. Okay, so osteoporosis, men versus women. Women 65 and over, 27% will have osteoporosis. Men, 5.7%. This also tells a story. Percentage of women in our society, 20% in 2018 with osteoporosis, and that number is not trending in the right direction. It's continuing to trend up. And I think this is a result of the bad exercise advice, the bad diet advice that women have been fed throughout their entire lives, the stories that they have taken in that they can't work out. They're not able to do it. They're never going to be able to do it right. So annual fractures are going to go up from in 2028 or in 2018 to 2040 by 68%. And 80% of people will never treat osteoporosis even after breaking a bone. 50% of women over the age of 50 will have an osteoporosis bone break. That's 432,000 hospital admissions, 180,000 nursing home admissions. Does anybody know the lifespan of a post-hip break client?
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years? Close. Yeah. 1.5 to 2 years. So after you break your hip, 1.5 to 2 years life expectancy. Really unfortunate, really sucks. I think it's a combination of lack of mobility, lack of independence, lack of confidence in your ability to move and enjoy life, which can be mitigated through things. So 1.5 to 2 years. I wrote a whole article on it on strengthcoach.com, one of the biggest websites in the world on for strength coaches in that community. There was a bone density study. I didn't do the study, but I just wrote about it. There was a controller group who were doing those body weight step exercises, and then there was another group that was doing weightlifting exercises 3 days a week for a half hour, doing deadlift, overhead press, and squats. These are all 65 plus, already osteoporosis ladies, both groups. The control group, after 9 months, had continued deterioration of their bones over a 9 month span. The lifting group improved bone density in the femoral head, the femoral neck, and the lumbar spine. So all of the areas that are very prone to breaking. So that shows you the benefits of strength training. Am I getting the hook? Oh, shoot. Okay, well, great, because I'm at the end. All right, so I can't help they're asking questions. So the recap here. So societal standards suck. The story in your mind can change. Prioritize protein in your meals. Build lean muscle through weightlifting, and get strong bones through weightlifting. Thank you so much for being here. This is why you should live for the future generations. All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
Any questions real quick again?
What was the last name?
Do what now? The last thing?
Thank you.
Have strong bones. Yeah. So yeah, that's why you should work out, so you can tell your story to the next generation. Right there. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for showing my chart.
Yeah, no problem.